All right, everybody, welcome back to the Ridgeline Hunting Podcast, brought to you by Phelps Game Calls, professional grade calls for every hunter. And that's right.
Perfect.
This is brought to you by Phelps Game Calls. So, a little announcement. Got an email today from Dirk Durham, and they are willing to sponsor the podcast.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's exciting.
pretty awesome.
Yeah. Seems like just yesterday we started out episode 1.
And it's only really been like a month.
Every Tuesday for a month.
Yeah, so it's pretty exciting. We'd like to welcome Phelps Game Calls in our adventure here doing this podcast, and basically what that means is that the listeners are going to be able to win some Phelps Game Calls with some giveaways.
Yeah, it's a good benefit.
Yeah, so as long as you're listening and contributing, basically leaving reviews, that helps with possibly getting more sponsors, getting more stuff to the listener. So
yeah. Well, I was just in Florida last week and in a gas station, and this guy is over there yelling at the attendant about the lottery. He's like, "I'm a firm believer. You got to be in it to win it." He starts laughing. So I walk up to the stand. I was like, "Yeah, he's probably right. I'm going to buy the ticket." So I'm waiting to check the results, but it could be worth like $150 million. I'm holding on to that dream. I'm not going to check it yet.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. So I was gone last week, and you did a episode with Mike Peterson.
Yep. My buddy Mike. Yep. New hunter, new archer. I mean, he's new. He just started getting into everything in November. Basically, he bought himself a Christmas present, which was his bow.
Yeah, he's a bachelor, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, heard that.
Yeah. So yeah, he bought himself a Christmas present and just went 200%. Like, this guy shoots more than I do.
Dove in head first.
Yeah.
Didn't even look.
No.
Nice.
He hasn't looked back either. He's been loving it. He's texting me like every day. He shoots every day after work. He's also doing like college. He's going to college for marketing or whatever, and after he's done with his homework, he goes and shoots his bow. And man, the guy's he's getting good. He's getting really good.
Nice. That's good to hear.
Yeah. He's ready.
I remember those days.
I remember those days.
Every day
shooting with you.
Every day. Yeah, that's awesome. I was sitting there looking at my bow today. I was like, man, you look like you could use some wax. The string is all fuzzy.
Oh, yeah. So, outside of the hunting season, I try to shoot every weekend, and usually Mike is out there with me, and we try to shoot every Saturday. And he's actually starting to shoot better than me. Yeah. Like,
buckle down.
Like, dude, I got to step it up.
It's a matter of effort, man. You got to get in there and put your time in.
Yeah.
He's earned it. You earn it when you're out there. So
no, and he's doing really good. And here in the next couple months, we're gonna do the Hoodoo Mountain Challenge shoot.
What do they call that event? Total Archery Challenge.
Yeah,
Total Archery Challenge. Yeah, I'd be interested in doing that too.
Let me know, man. If you want to go, let's do it.
Is Hoodoo? That's in Oregon.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like 4.5 hour drive.
Taking your truck.
Okay. Actually, I'll make him drive. He's got a little Subi. We'll just take that.
Oh man, you can't show up to an archer shoot in a Subaru.
Yeah, that's true. We'll
it's
take
like a Northwest Classic. I mean,
we'll take the GMC.
Granola Cruncher. Show with a pack of trail mix and.
Well, actually, just today though, they just released that Stevens Pass is going to be opening for their shoot as well.
Oh, okay.
So since COVID, we haven't had our own Washington shoot. Now we're going to have our shoot at Stevens Pass.
Wow, man.
That's in July.
Remember when they didn't even let you go fishing? When first everything started going off and
oh my gosh, yeah, you can't do this, you can't do that. The turkey season was late, the bear season was super late.
Yeah.
Like,
that was so strange.
Can't even go outside. You gotta be kidding me.
First of all, I'm looking for the spot with nobody at it. I'm not standing shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah.
With people, you figure it'd be safe outdoors on a lake somewhere. Even if you had your private boat, they wouldn't let you go out.
ridiculous.
That was crazy. So I'm glad we're past all that.
Yeah, everything is pretty much back to normal, dude. Guess what? Today I didn't have to wear a mask on the train.
Oh,
Weird.
really? Going to
Yeah,
King County?
yeah, King
Jeez.
County. Yeah, they let up. I was surprised. I haven't really been wearing a mask anyways, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. I think most people are doing that same thing.
Yeah.
So how was your week last week?
Man, you know what? Yeah, I mean, shoot, you've been gone to Florida. It was awesome. It was opening weekend for the general turkey season for everybody, not just for youth. So, I went out by myself. I went solo. Um, went out Friday after work. So I got into camp, built camp at like 10 o'clock at night through the headlights of my truck. And what's really great is that I have this this tent that's you set it up with hiking sticks, and it seriously took me like 4 minutes to set it up.
Not like the other one with 57 pieces color coded and numbered.
No, not the other tent mahal that
Like an
I had.
erector set.
That took us like an hour to.
Don't know if
set up. It
aliens
was
or space.
ridiculous.
Looks like one of those spaceships that come down and the astronauts use and stuff. This
Yeah, it
thing's
was-
high tech. It's got Mylar on it.
Yeah, it was not that intense. Just took a couple minutes, and it's great for like 1 to 2 people. I would say 3 people if you're just on a backpacking hunt. But for this, it's out of the back of my truck, so I have everything in there. So it was great for me. But Saturday, I'm not gonna lie, sucked. That was grueling, nasty weather. I don't think it got above 30 degrees.
Jeez.
Snowed off and on, and I'm talking, when you get up on top of that dragon's back,
Yeah.
the snow was coming in sideways, man. So I'm like walking backwards, trying to go like down the hill, so I'm not getting sandblasted by snow.
So you didn't see any turkeys then?
No, Saturday there were no turkeys to be seen. I was hearing just a couple gobbles in the morning. Basically, when I got to the top of the dragon's back, I heard a couple gobbles, worked my way down kind of methodically through the snow, and sat for 9 to 10 hours, not in one spot, but just like got up, move, sit, get up, move, sit, and nothing.
That's funny that you say
All
that.
stinking day long.
The funniest part about that to me is usually when we're hunting big game and it snows the first time, we're like, oh, this is sweet. We can see tracks now. And they're just everywhere. And you're up there, probably didn't see a single turkey track.
No, I don't think they left their roost.
Yeah.
Like I was trying to like just glass trees and just like pick out to see if I could see turkeys in the trees, because then there wasn't supposed to be any snow. It was supposed to be just cloudy, not too bad. And it was supposed to get up to about 48, 50, which isn't terrible. But I honestly don't think it got over 30 degrees. I didn't take the super down off.
Wow.
Like hiking around with that big puffy on plus my other jacket over that.
Yeah.
And I would sit down for 5 minutes and we're just like, like
Yeah.
I gotta get up.
Hey, man. That's one of those hunts, I kind of feel sorry for you because I was down in Florida and it was probably, I have actually like my sunglass tan line from my Oakleys, and I was down fishing and, all that fun stuff. But I saw the weather, and everybody's posting online, oh, we got snow 8 inches. The Southwest Washington got hammered by snow.
Yeah.
And, people were, wondering how they're going to get to work and stuff. And for April around here, that's kind of rare. I don't remember in April where it snowed like that in the lowlands ever. But yeah, you guys had a storm come in, and I'm surprised that you actually still went out.
Man, I gotta take my opportunities while I can, to be honest with you. Yeah, I mean, this. You can't kill anything from the couch.
Yeah.
I mean, it just doesn't happen like that. So
And you only get so many weekends.
that's right. And playing Weekend Warrior with this turkey season, because I'm not gonna take any time off. I have limited PTO, and I have other hunts coming up, and we're going to Florida in July, and yeah, I have limited PTO, so it's Weekend Warrior time. But Sunday was a beautiful day. Ended up being I don't know if maybe 55 to 60. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
But it was nice, really nice day. Turkeys were fired up, going off all day long. Well, as long as I could stay. I only stayed till about noon because I had almost a 6-hour drive back home. And it was Easter Sunday, so I wanted to have, Easter dinner with the family and everything. But I did have one gobbler come in. He didn't like what he was looking at, and he scooted.
Did you do the camo face?
Oh yeah, man! I was
You were
all
decked out.
even in the snow. The camo was.
You should have used
on.
white camo. You should have had like some sort of
Well, you
black
get
and
down,
white
well, you
stripe or
get down to the bottom, and there was no snow. It wasn't sticking.
oh,
You're just getting blasted by it. But it was so dry and windy. The snow was just blowing around all over the place. It wasn't sticking anywhere.
was that
It
really?
was still
light
green
stuff.
and kind of brown, But at the top is where it was starting to stick. So I had to go up and over to get to camp, back up and over to get to the turkeys. So
Did
I
you
was always
try
at the top.
going around that lowland side on the other side?
So that was the most cars and trucks I've ever seen in that area. So right when you drive in, come off the road,
Going to the right up there.
yeah, you go in. Right when you get to the top, usually we take the left to go down into our camp, that little down low spot. There was someone right at that turn. Then if you looked like down into where our camp was, there's 3 trucks in there. Then if you go up just a little bit more, there was a truck like put in like a little cut back in there. And I was just like, oh, looks like I'm going all the way to the back. So I went all the way down like a different area where Devin and I camped. And I seriously had that whole hillside to myself. No one went over there.
No one goes up that hill.
No. And there was only one guy. I did run into one hunter, and he was down on the other side. So if you go down around that kind of lower side, how we'd usually go back to the flat, he was kind of up and over on like a little finger over there.
Oh, okay.
I came around the corner, and he gave me a little toot. And I looked at him like, oh, all right, man, I'm going back.
Yeah. That's funny because I was reading an article a while ago, and this guy had they're talking about turkey hunting, and they apparently somewhere in the South they put signs up like they'll put a rope from a tree to tree. It says "Caution, turkey hunter in the area." So you're like see these signs, you're like, crap, someone's down here. You just turn around, you never even interrupt their hunt.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah, I don't know.
It'd be nice, but it also kind of that'd not work during elk season.
You're like, how else can I use this to my advantage?
Go out, mark this whole giant area off.
Yeah.
Look out, elk hunters.
There was a spot we actually found like that. It was where we normally elk hunt, and it said like we had hunted there for years too, and we went back to the spot. It was pretty good for a long time, and there was a sign that said like private lease, no entry.
Oh,
And it was in the middle of this land, where it's public land. And I was like, this is bullshit. Let's go back here. Like some hunters pulling a quick one on us. They're just trying to keep this shit private. But yeah, so
that's what's nice about these apps that we have now. All these different OnX or base maps or whatever you use. You can find those little pockets of leased land and in public areas and stuff. It's kind of crazy.
and that was actually, come to find out, it was actually a legit lease,
Yeah, I remember that.
But being ever cautious, I went like 100 yards and we're like, I don't know, this kind of seems weird, like probably should turn around. So we got out of there. But, that was when Weyerhaeuser started doing their leases, their little private lease areas. There's like
Yeah.
several hundred acres or something right in the middle of a spot. And they would lease that out to a group of, whoever, 5 guys or 4 guys. That was a pretty good spot. And that's when they first started. So we hadn't really ever heard of that. I don't even think they had their lease land website up.
No, I don't think so. I'm not sure how they even, the first part of that, how they even got anybody into that. I wonder if it was just warehouse workers
Yeah, somebody.
that got in that, like, hey, we should probably do this, or I'm not sure. That's something that we should look into.
Yeah, they do. They have some private leases still, but I like to roam a little bit more than that for the elk.
Yeah,
They're pretty transitory,
we put in some miles, man.
Yeah,
We'll work a 10-mile area and then be like, all right, well, there's no elk over
we
here.
need to
We
drive
gotta
5
go.
miles and go hit the next 10, and
Yeah. Yeah.
just hop around and look for them, and kind of beat the brush a bit. But yeah, my week is pretty nice. We're down in we went to a buddy's place down in Florida, in Navarre, and first day, when I was heading down there, he's like, "It's going to be great. You can just go fishing every day. I have a pole I have this fishing pole in this closet. You can use the pole." So I go down. We actually drove in to Florida from New Orleans, so we got through Mississippi. I think we were in Alabama. I don't. Yeah, I think we were in
Or like a little
Alabama.
sliver of it.
We tried to follow the coastline because I wanted to check it out.
Oh, okay.
So we got down. There was a beach, and it was like the first nice beach. There's some beaches down there that aren't really that great, and then as you get closer to Florida, they get better and better.
Hmm.
So we got down. I think it was Alabama. Oh, Mississippi. We're at a beach in Mississippi. Actually, sorry, my bad. Alabama. I remember the sign said "Sweet Home." Now, welcome to Sweet Home, Alabama. As soon as you come into state. So we're almost to Florida. We stopped probably 45 minutes from Pensacola, Florida.
Hmm.
At the first beach we saw that there was a nice access to, and I saw these people by the truck like loading up this fishing gear. So I figured I'd stop and talk to them, and saw what they were using, ask them what they were fishing for, and then they gave me the quick rundown on how to catch a pompano, like what they're using and all that. So I got to Florida. We got set up, and first thing I did was look for that closet with the fishing pole. I was right by the beach. I could see the water, so I'm like, "Where's this pole at?" He said, "There's a pompano." I'm looking at these people, these fish, and so
That's a beautiful fish.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of shocked by everything down there. How there's so much variety right there. I mean, right off the coast. So I went to this little bait shop called the Half Hitch in Navarre. Killer place, man. They have great customer service, lots of equipment, very friendly. And so I talked to them for a couple minutes. Got my Florida. I ended up buying the whole year fishing license because it was $10 more than a week. So I figured I might come back. So I might as well spend the $10, right?
Yeah. So what was the price of the fishing license for the year?
Non-resident fishing license for the year was $43, I think.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, and I think it's
for the year.
I think it's salt and freshwater. I think it's a whole state, salt and fresh.
Really?
So here they divide it. They divide it here. So yeah, I don't know if they have a division, but I got to fish everything.
That's nice.
Yeah, it was cool. So I got the pole, got my license, got the pompano rigs, and went down to the beach with the family and did a little surf fishing. I didn't know you needed a pole holder. I didn't even think about hold a pole holder. I thought I'd be holding the pole. But you cast it out, had the pompano rig, and they got these little thing called fish gummies. It's almost like fruit by the foot, but it's like a 1/4-inch thick, and it has like a nylon in there or fabric. Basically, it's like jelly fish food with fabric in it. You cut it and you put on your hook, and they eat that.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, they said it was.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, it was a trip because it stays on for a long time. But they say it's like it's almost like they somehow took the sand fleas and homogenized it to a paste and then made this stuff out of it, added some color. So there's different color ones, almost like they do with power bait.
Oh, weird.
So they were trying to describe it to me. I was like, "Oh, it sounds good. If that's what I'm going to catch it on, hand it over,
Cool, man. Just hand it over.
Hey, clock's ticking,
cool
son.
story,
I gotta
bro.
go. Clock's ticking.
Hand it over.
Your time's short, so am I. So got down there, and it was pretty rough. I mean, it was like a red flag day. So I cast the rod in, or the pole in. Everybody's got their poles in the little PVC pipes they stick in the sand. And one after another, they started reeling them up, and they're all standing around talking, and they're not fishing anymore. So the waves were so bad, I had to hold the pole up in the air. Like my arm was like straight up in the air with the pole. And just to keep my line out of the water from the waves, because it was like jerking the tip around and stuff. And then suddenly, man, this little freaking pompano jumps on there, starts wrapping on my pole tip, ping, 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 ping. And I set the hook. I didn't want to set too hard because I didn't know anything about their mouth and how hard it is. And some ocean fish have soft mouths, but I gave it a pretty good jerk. Started reeling that thing in, and they all came over. They were like, "What the heck did you do?" And I reeled this pompano in, and that was that, man. The guy took a picture of me with the fish, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, "So what do you do to prepare this bad boy?" And he's like, "Oh, I like to fry them and stuff." And I was like, "Well, how about this? You take the fish." It was my first day there. I was like, "You take the fish. Thanks for the picture." And he's like, "Yeah, I'll cook it for you, no problem." So that was day 1. Day 2 and 3 were rough. It was the ocean just got worse and worse. But being a hard-headed northerner, I was out there and ended up going to the pier down there. They have like a 1,300-foot pier. Went down there and got some of these little shrimp they have. They're weird. They'll beat you up with their tail. They're pretty rough shrimp. Not like,
Oh, really?
they snap quick. Reminded me of that little TV show. That guy has the shrimp with the little snapper deal that kills everything. Just trying to knock my fingers off my hand. So I ended up catching a shark, like a 2-foot shark. Nobody knew what kind of shark it was, so let it go. And then a bunch of these catfish, and yeah, it was good, man.
That's awesome.
Got my picture up in the half hitch bait shop. So if you look on
With
the
the
board
pompano?
there, with the pompano, they put it on their
Okay,
board.
I'm gonna take a picture of me taking a picture of that
when you go
when I
down
get
there.
Yeah, when I get there, I'll do it. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, go to the half hitch. It's right there.
So, everybody, if you want to see the photos from that, I have them from Dave. I will post them up on the Instagram page. It's the Ridgeline Hitman, and yeah, you'll see the pompano and the shark. It almost looked like a black tip reef shark, except for it didn't have like that black tip on that dorsal fin.
I know
It did
nothing
on the
about
back,
sharks.
but I asked Malachi's our shark expert.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he was like, I think it's in between just a reef shark or a black tip reef shark.
So either way, it's some sort of reef shark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was aggressive. It was funny because when I was catching these catfish, and the guy next to me, he was like Ukrainian or somewhere Slavic, and so we were talking about these catfish. I was asking if they're edible, and he's like, "Oh, they're too small. You got to get a little bigger." The very next fish, it was ripping on that pole. I was like, "Oh, like this one?" I'm reeling. He comes running over. He's looking at the bottom, and you see this fish down there. He's like, "Pull it up." So I couldn't even get it up because it was too heavy for the pole. So he grabs the rope, because we're using like braided line. So he grabs it by hand. He's like pulling this shark up by hand. He puts it on the beach and or on the pier. He goes, "Okay, get it off the hook." And the hook's in this little shark's mouth. And I'm like, "How the hell am I going to do this?" So I grab it by the tail. That little sucker does a sit up, tries to get me, like coming at my hand. He sat to its side.
Yeah.
So I was like, "How the heck am I going to do this?" And he goes, "Be careful, they're aggressive." I was like, "No shit, he's trying to get me right now." So I had to use the shark's body as kind of like a stick almost, like when he would try to keep his chin on the ground basically, and I had to turn his tail to keep his face down.
Oh,
Once I did that, I was able to get him by the neck, and their skin is like super grippy. It's almost like sandpaper.
Sandpaper, yeah.
So I just held it by its little neck and used my hand to get that hook out of the corner of its mouth, man. But I was sketched out.
Yeah, man, it's a dang shark. I mean, you could reach your hand in there and come back with like a couple nubs,
Well, his mouth was, he might have been able to eat like a
couple fingers.
Yeah, he could have took a nibble.
Come back with like got peace sign forever.
I tell you, I got stuck by one of them catfish. I bled like crazy. Look at that little thing right there.
Oh,
That was like a 1/4 inch wide.
Really?
From the spine of a catfish, yeah.
Yeah. So we went to Florida last year, and we actually got a fishing guide. His name is Marlon.
Okay.
That's his name. And I was like, man, you were like destined to do this.
Born for it.
Yeah. And I was like, is that your real name? And he's like, yeah, man, that's my name. I was like, all right, well, that's cool. Freaking fishing guide, and your name's Marlon. That's freaking awesome. But we were catching those catfish too. And he was seriously had like 2-foot pliers, and we just wiggle them off the hook. Just bloop. I'm like, oh man, I want to take a picture with that. He's like, no, you don't want that. He's like, you want nothing to do with those catfish.
Yeah. Yeah, the funny part about that is a buddy of mine, Luke, who were staying at his place, he told me he fished a lot down there, and he was catching those catfish, and the guy told him, if you're in the water and you get stung by one of those catfish, you need to get out quick because, you can pass out from the sting of one of them things.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this is I never heard of anybody passing out from a catfish sting. So I believe what he said, but then I saw these catfish, and I was like, just being careful. Then that sucker flicked its tail somehow, and I don't know how it stuck me, but I felt it like hit me in the bone, like someone flicked my finger, and I thought, oh shit, I've done it now.
I'm passing out.
Yeah, I was like, any minute, I'm just gonna fall over. I'm on the pier. There's people over to my right. I'm like looking at them. I'm like, should I tell them I just got stuck by this catfish? I was like, no, they'll laugh me out of here. I'm some guy coming from up north and crying to him about a catfish that poked me. But I was waiting for myself to pass out. So I'm not going to tell Luke that doesn't actually happen because it didn't happen, but it did sting a lot, But I think the fear of passing out from this sting was mainly what made my finger burn. I was like, I got to notice every little thing going on, But it bled for, I don't know, probably 20 minutes. It was bleeder.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's serious.
Mm-hmm. I was like, dang. So I was surprised because that spine was more like it wasn't like a spike. It was more like a sword, kind of long.
Oh, really?
Like from the ridge. So it cut in like a knife, not like a spike.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't like bludgeon. It wasn't like a nail.
Yeah, like if you were to get stuck with a steak knife versus a toothpick.
Yeah.
It just makes a longer cut. So that's why it bled for a while. But that's the only thing I was just like,
That's pretty gnarly though. Freaking catfish got you.
Another thing. So I kind of like take my fishing seriously, and I saw this sign for a podcast called Finding Dory podcast. It's all about surf fishing down in Navarre. The guys from Navarre made a podcast.
Oh, really?
About surf fishing. So I'm out there fishing for these things, listening to the podcast on my earbud, like listening to everything they're saying, and it ended up working out pretty good.
That's awesome. That's a good trip.
Full immersion. I was involved.
You have to. Mm-hmm. You're on vacation, having a good time, doing the family thing, fishing in a place where you'd never really fished. I mean, I've never fished Navarre.
Yeah,
I fished Clearwater.
It's a trip, man. They have these little things in the water called sand fleas.
Yeah, those things are gross.
Yeah, the people were telling me like if you catch a male one, you don't even want to touch it because it looks so freaky. It's like an alien little creature. The females,
yeah, it's like I don't even know how to explain it. It's
kind of like a roly poly in the ocean. So if you grab them, their feet tuck in. You can roll them around your hand. But if you sit still, their legs will come out and they'll start crawling away. But it's crazy how you can just drag this little basket through the sand where the surf's at, and you sift the sand out, and there's all these little bugs in there, and you can fish with them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Bait right there.
Yeah, I mean, I was nailing them. Yeah, these guys I didn't buy one of those little nets, but these guys down the way had one, so I used it for about 5 minutes, caught, I don't know, 15 or 20 little sand fleas, and, I started using those, and they worked all right, but the killer thing was those shrimp.
I'm excited to go, man. I want to catch a shark.
Well, you'll have a good time. There was one guy down there who was actually doing shark fishing.
Like for tigers and stuff?
Whatever he was catching, he ate. The guy's like, I eat the sharks. He was using mackerel as bait.
Oh, crazy!
So people were kind of like,
I don't want to eat one. I just want to catch and release one. But
yeah, he was swearing up and down it was the best fish out there. So that was a trip because he had. Anyhow, I don't want to talk about everything that the guy used, but he had this basically like this big weight. He casted out this big weight on a main line with no bait or hook on it. Then he had another deal. It was like a cable with a big hook on it and a corkscrew on the other end of it. Other end of the leader, it's like 3 foot long, and there's this corkscrew thing. So once he casted way out there, he would bait up this hook and leader with this corkscrew, and then he would spin it around his main line, and then he would zip line the bait down to the bottom.
Oh man,
yeah, it was a trip. So he never unset his weight. He just kept zip lining more baits down the line.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I need to see how that's done.
I was thinking about doing that in the Puget Sound.
Yeah.
Getting a big old weight and zip lining that sucker and corkscrewing some stuff with a stopper down there and have it like 10 feet off the bottom.
Yeah.
Probably be Lingcod City.
Yeah, we're gonna have to try that out.
Well, the little weights they use are called Sputniks, so you can order them online. I think they call them Sputniks because of like the spaceship, the Sputnik or something like that. They go really far, literally like a torpedo in there.
Awesome.
Putting that in my repertoire. go on Amazon and pick some up.
Little bag of tricks that's going in there.
Yep.
That's awesome.
That was a trip, man. Totally different than what we do up here. But yeah, it was a good trip. We went to New Orleans, came back, and unfortunately our flight got canceled because they had the pilot strike thing going on here, and so we wanted the scramble mode find a flight thing so we can get back in town and end up having to go to Houston and then back. But other than that, it was fine. Yeah, we had a good time.
Sounds like it's a good trip. Good trip to Florida and good fishing, good weather. You got a lot darker, that's for sure.
Yeah, I have the sunglass tan line. My head was peeling. Like it was pretty rough, man. We went to SPF 50. We started at 35 and then we had to go to 50.
Just because you were getting burnt.
I guess the sun reflects off that white sand and just like a microwave. So you got to be extra careful down there.
That's intense.
Yeah, I seen a guy in the bait shop, man. And I asked him if he was a guide, and he's like, "Nope, just been gardening." His face was just, I mean, it was crazy. He looks like one of those parents that spend the weekend out watching their kid play softball. You know, it's just
oh my gosh, yeah, just burnt like a mother. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, nuts.
Yeah. So glad to be back. I'm glad the weather's not snowing still, and you know, we're next weekend. I'll be heading out do some turkey hunting, and this weekend we're gonna do the opening fishing season and let it warm up a little bit more, and hopefully get at them.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm excited. Yep, I'll be back out in 2 weeks. This weekend, I would be going out, but we have plans. Karen's got like a work event that she wants me to go do up north in Everett. We're gonna go to a hockey game, and then we're also gonna do like a Funko.
Oh, nice.
So little bobblehead guys. We're gonna go do that, and then on Sunday I might actually have a motocross race. Not sure if I'm doing it or not, but we'll see.
Yeah.
The body's telling me no.
Well, I'll tell you what I did. I took the Traeger.
Ooh.
Got the Traeger spruced up because I'm going to be smoking trout next week.
Oh man, I might have to come over then.
Opening week, you know, we're probably going to go out and dink them, you know, just like normal. And then, you know, I'm going to fire up the smoker and start making smoked trout again, man.
Yeah, that was so good. So Dave and I were last year. I don't even know how many times we were fishing a lot, and we were smoking trout almost every other day. Just there was so much trout. Dave actually had too much trout, and he's like giving it to everybody. But everybody wanted more and more and more because this guy's like a smoking master. He makes some really good stuff.
Let me decline that comment. Appreciate it, but yeah, I do like smoking the fish. I learned from a guy who grew up in Southwest Washington, smoking salmon a lot, and so he gave me a little secret of his recipe, and so I just he's like, here's what I do. If you can tweak it to your liking, but here's where you want to start. This will get you a good head start on the discovery of how you're going to brine and smoke these fish. So anyhow, I got a good lesson from him and took it from there. And so I do little tweaks here and there just to make my brine, you know, the fish flavor and all that stuff, and a little different. And man, it turns out great.
Yeah, it's really tasty. It's awesome.
Smoking fish, smoked meats. If you haven't done it, it's super way to add some extra to your hunting season or your fishing season. It also, you know, it's not very expensive to do. So, you know, getting things processed.
Just getting the smoker, I think, is the most expensive thing. And that's it.
You can do it with a small smoker too. I mean, I have friends that make killer smoked salmon on a big chief or a little chief. Just the electric is a little more hard to temperature control. But I think for me, buying any smoked salmon is totally out of the question. It's, you know, probably $30 a pound. So, you know, I haven't had to buy smoked salmon in, you know, probably 7 or 8 years maybe now. But I just won't do it because it's so expensive. But
yeah,
and smoking the trout, I mean, now it's like a whole different level.
Well, it's just a good skill to have. I mean, you know, from field to table.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can do all that stuff yourself, that's the way to go.
Yeah, I 100% agree. You know, getting out, collecting or harvesting, whatever you're doing. You know, when you killed, what did you get? That we ate that heart one time. What was that, off of deer or an elk? That was your elk heart?
That was an elk heart, yeah.
Elk heart. So it was really cool because these guys next to us at camp, they went out and for some reason they found just a god awful amount of
morels.
Were those morels?
Yeah.
Chanterelles.
Chanterelles?
Yeah, chanterelles.
They were chanterelles, yeah. Yeah.
So they had like a Safeway bag,
Full of them.
yeah, full of them, and then I mean, basically a grocery bag full of chanterelles. And so we traded them half a heart for probably 2 pounds of chanterelles, and we just sautéed those in butter and had elk heart with chanterelles, and it was like nothing you've ever had before.
It was really good.
Chanterelles is almost, you can eat those just by themselves. It's like
Yeah.
a whole meal.
Yeah. I remember we fried it
Yep.
in the pan with just butter. And that was it.
Oh, it's perfect. I mean, just the flavor of that stuff. So I really enjoy any of that harvesting, gathering, making it yourself. I'm not a mushroom guy, so I don't know exactly what I'm looking for, but I can tell you what a chanterelle is when I see it.
Yeah.
So,
If we were to see it, we would know. But other than that, I mean, we see some really big capped mushrooms, and I was like, I don't even know what
they
that
look like
is.
they're off Super Mario Brothers.
Or like the
what
Smurfs.
heck?
It's weird looking.
Yeah.
What the heck is that?
Don't eat it. You'll start seeing blue guys.
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
You'll poison yourself. Yeah, so I don't take any chances. But yeah, so doing the smoking is one of my favorite things. It's a good thing to do if you're just around the house too. I mean, it takes hours to do, so you can set it, check on it here and there, and when it's done, you pull it out, enjoy.
Oh, I also got a message from my buddy Rich, who does the sturgeon fishing. He was like, after this weekend, man, anytime you guys want to go, hit me up.
Now is he in Eastern Washington?
No, he's in Bonnie Lake.
Oh, okay. So where does he go? To Columbia down there?
Nope.
No telling
Can't
Creek?
tell you.
Okay.
He might even blindfold us when we go out with him.
Just turn your Onyx on, trickle. Find the
Yeah,
track.
just find the track. Yeah. Track my ways.
I know, right? Perfect.
Yeah, so we do have the invite for that too. So
Okay.
that will be and he said that goes till the end of the year. So I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm definitely down for sturgeon fishing. That's one of my favorites. We used to do that every year.
I've never done it. So this would be my first time catching these giant dinosaur fish. So I'm super pumped and excited to do that when we have a chance to do that. And I'm thinking it'll probably be, sometime after someone tags on a turkey.
Yeah. That sturgeon fishing, we did that every year for probably 7 or 8 years solid. And we would catch fish from, there's a slot keeper size here in the state, in Washington State. I'm pretty sure most states have a slot size, but they had reduced the slot size. I think it was 48 to 58 inches. So they cut it down by 2 inches. Well, that's the year that I caught a 60 incher. And that used to be, the year before that was the slot, 48 to 60. And I was, all I wanted was a keeper. Because we were catching them 8 feet, 12 feet long, and just huge fish, from a boat into Columbia. And that slot was just too big. That fish just broke the slot. And so I never have caught a keeper sturgeon. I've never had sturgeon meat, but I heard it's the best.
I haven't had sturgeon either. So that's going to be our goal. The keeper.
Yep.
Got to
get a keeper, man. I'm amped about that. That's the good news there.
I wouldn't also mind catching a 14-footer either. So I mean,
oh, you'd mind.
Just
you'll be handing that pole over in about 5 minutes. You're going, oh, my back here. Take this.
No way.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No way.
Believe me.
I'm gonna reel them in.
Yeah, we had one day we caught 8 fish, and they ranged from 8 to 13 feet, and that was probably our best day ever sturgeon fishing from a boat. And we were
That's awesome.
That was, I think, our first trip ever down there. So we would go down to Oregon side. We'd launch from I can't even remember the name of the launch, but there's a campground up there on the Columbia above Multnomah Falls. We would launch from there, and we would fish just below the Bonneville Dam.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going up the river, and we're in this, I think it's like a 26-foot Motion Marine. It has a V8 inboard jet, and then it's a tiller drive, and I'm sitting here just excited about being there. You're in this huge canyon. The water's gigantic, and the sun rises directly down the Columbia River from the east. So as you're going down river upriver, actually, towards Bonneville, the sun's rising over the mountain, like in the canyon.
That's
you can
beautiful.
see the sun breaking. And you look down towards the Pacific, and it's just like a picture. I mean, beautiful as can be. So the captain, he's like, "All right, everybody hold on." He spins the boat around in a circle. He says, "Give me this net." So I give him the net, and he dips the net in the water. Comes up with this little fish. I mean, it was probably 10 or
You're
12
getting
inches.
shads.
Yeah, shad. Yeah, 10 or 12-inch shad. And he throws it on the deck of the boat and he's like, "All right, let's go on." He goes up and spins the boat around again. He catches like 5 or 6 of these. He goes, "You boys, be on the lookout for these silver shads. If you see a seagull on top of that water, you tell me, because the seagulls will start pecking on these shads when they're floating downriver."
Mm-hmm.
So the Bonneville Dam, the shad will go up and the dam will knock them out. Like their head hits a impeller or whatever, and they'll get spit down the river and they float, and then the seagulls land on them and start pecking them. We're only like 150, 200 yards down from the dam, so constantly we're looking upriver looking for seagulls because they're sitting on a fish, and then we would come off the anchor and go net that little fish, and we'd use those as bait. But I was confused at first. I was like, "This guy, we just paid $1,000 between the 4 of us to come down here fishing. This man didn't bring any bait."
Cheap sons of bitches.
That was just poor planning. I'm like, what if there wasn't any shad, right? But there's plenty, and we just dinged the heck out of them that day, and it was incredible. Almost got my hand crushed by a sturgeon tail when it smacked the side of the boat. Smashed my fingers pretty good. So keep your hands off the side of the boat if you're ever sturgeon fishing when there's a big.
Well, when we go, we'll be off the bank. We'll be right off the bank. We won't be in a boat.
Yeah, so that's, I kept trying to get him to go towards the shore because I wanted that keeper. And we were fishing about 80 feet down. So, I mean, it's a whole new level, man. We're using 48-ounce ball of lead to keep the bait on the bottom.
That's crazy.
Yeah. 48 ounces. That was a 3-pound ball of lead. Like a cannonball.
Yeah.
Yeah, something else, but.
That'd be fun. We're going to go. We're going to have a good time and going to meet my buddy Rich. Right. I'll have him tell you the story about the time he got robbed by a cop down in Mexico.
Oh, yeah. I believe it. Been down there a couple times.
It was pretty intense. Pretty funny.
Well, hopefully we get a chance to get down there and whack a couple keepers, man.
Yeah. Rich, he'll probably be out there this weekend. I'll get an update on how the fishing was and what's going on. And yeah, if you guys want to check out any sturgeon fishing, check out Big Bank Fishing on YouTube. That's all it's on his YouTube channel is him catching sturgeon. It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah,
because that's something that you could do easily. On the bank.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many spots to fish. Knowing the spots though, where the fish hold up. I mean that river, it's controlled by a dam, so the flow is constantly changing, and there's times when you don't want to be close to that water because it's moving so fast. But yeah, there's a lot of education it takes to get good at that. So best probably to go with him and get all the good stuff.
Yeah, just pick his brain. I've never done it before, and I mean it'd be good to learn a new skill.
We'll be down there fishing. I'll be like, "So, would you say this is your best spot? Is this your favorite place?"
Check.
Nah.
I wouldn't do that.
That's funny.
But yeah, we'll be doing that here pretty soon. So that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, man. So today, you sent me a text message,
and
you said you got drawn for
multi-season deer
tag. So,
yep.
What does that mean?
That means that I can hunt any one of the deer seasons.
And yeah, east, west.
Yeah, either side.
And rifle, muzzleloader, archery.
Mm-hmm. High buck.
Yeah.
If I wanted to do high buck. So my thought was high buck was during like August. Like late August, early September. I was not correct on that.
When is high buck?
At all. It's like the 15th through the 25th of September.
Oh.
So I will probably never do high buck until I go to like maybe do like a rifle season for elk or something like that.
So Nate Brents, he actually owns Nimrod Pack Company.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He lived here, and we're all friends, and he would do that high buck every year.
Nate's a good guy.
And he would get some absolute whoppers, man.
I know.
Him and his daughter Callie, man.
That's why I want to do it. Also, the P and Wild guys, You know, they're here out of Washington too. They do high buck every year, and they're freaking smacking some whoppers. I'm just like, man, I really want a I want a decent sized buck, man.
The cool part
I want
about
a
it,
big one.
it's not like you're hiking up there on a trail, so you're on a trailhead.
Yeah.
You hike up there on the trailhead, then you kind of wander off and do your own thing, you know. So there's a strategy involved in this. Nate filled me in on this part. You don't hike in the trailhead with your camo on. Go in like a hiker, so people aren't staring at you all funny and they don't check out your rig or whatever. Because he was always worried about someone doing something to his car, his tires, or whatever. But you basically want to go in incognito, and then when you get up to where you want to be, you throw your camo on.
Nate.
Yeah. That was his strategy. Yeah. He told me, he's like, I went in there, I had neon shirts on and all sorts of stuff, and my shorts.
Another hiker.
Yep, just another hiker. Had his rifle in the backpack. Nobody ever thought about it.
That's funny.
Then he would ditch his, hiking clothes and put on his hunting clothes.
That's too much stuff to bring in. I'm going to bring in what I'm going to be wearing.
Oh, man.
People have any questions, they can ask me.
He had to take out 3 or 4 trips on a buck with him and his daughter.
I remember that.
I think Callie was like 12 or 13. She nailed this one. It was.
Yeah, there's pictures of it all over the Nimrod booth.
Yeah, and that thing was probably 28 to 30 inches wide. I think it was a 5x5 mule deer.
See, I'd be happy with just a typical, nice framed 4x4.
That's and everybody else.
That's yeah, that's true.
He's like, give me a 32-inch 4x4, I'd be happy with that.
No, it doesn't even need to be that big, man. Just a nice typical 4x4 would be nice.
Yeah. Shoot for the moon.
Yeah, but I'm not doing high bucks, so.
We got to figure.
It's right smack dab in the middle of elk season.
What is our elk season's on a rotation. So they roll it back every year by a day.
Yeah, if it starts the 10th this year. It was the 12th last year.
Well, they skipped the 2 days, huh?
Mm-hmm. Because it will roll back to the 8th.
Yeah, then it restarts back on like the 13th or 14th or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if it's the 10th, when is high buck? 15th to the 22nd?
25th.
We'll have to look at it. We might be able to get 2 days in there.
Maybe a weekend warrior, high buck.
Yeah, why not? Give it a shot.
Whatever. Man, there's an area that I might go check out to go scout for high buck. Or just in general. Because I do have multi-season, I can just go rifle season too. So maybe take Devin up there too. But the Goats Rock unit.
Mm-hmm.
Because I already go there.
Yeah. Well, you saw some nice bucks up there a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
During my Bethel Ridge tag.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, that was messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's another story.
Whole other deal. They had you pegged, though, right away.
Yeah, instantly. They're like, yeah, they look right at me, and I'm like, ugh, stuck. Went to draw back and scooted.
Yeah. Dang, that was
Sometimes you can get away with that, but they had me pegged. They're like, that is a hunter.
Yeah, they live too close to the main thoroughfare to not know what's going on.
Yeah, they knew what was up.
That's funny. I'll never forget that trip, man. That was something else. That was crazy. I'll never forget that canyon.
Well, it had the highest of highs and the lowest of lows.
Yeah, that trip. I mean, that was craziness. I couldn't believe. Luke and I, we ended up getting on a herd of elk, nice size herd of elk down there, and they were on the other side of this canyon, and it was literally almost straight down. I mean, it had to have been 60 degrees angle going down.
Yeah,
the hill.
Stuff is steep over there, man.
It
can get pretty dangerous real fast. You can get cliffed out too.
Yeah, the worst part was I went down that. You went down that the following week, but I'd gone down there to the flat spot in the bottom looking for that.
Oh yeah, no, you sent me down there the next day. You were
was
like,
it the next day?
Yeah, you're like, yeah, go ahead and go down there, man.
Go ahead. It's great.
Yeah, it's great. It's a nice walk all the way down. And I'm like, all right, cool. We'll start going down. I'm like, holy crap, this is steep.
Yeah, the trees on the top of that hill. So when you leave from the top of the hill and you start heading down, there's these big pine trees. They're probably 180 feet tall. So when you get down to the bottom, the hill is so steep you can't even see those trees.
Yeah.
you're sitting here looking like up a hill, and you can't see these trees that are almost 200 feet tall on the top of that hill because of the angle. Just that little bit of drop and they're gone. So it was pretty rough. And I got out of there, and it was. I turned around halfway and took a picture because it was pretty. There's a nice rimrock like mountain on the other side, and I was like, I'm never coming down here again, so I'm gonna take a photo of this. I'm just gonna tell everybody like, I went here and I'm never going back. I think the name of it was like Hell's Canyon or Devil Canyon or something like that, Red Canyon or something. But
I don't remember. I don't usually go on that side. I usually go on the other side, but that's where I'm taking Mike.
To that spot?
For deer season.
Oh man.
Not to that spot.
Oh.
But that area.
Yeah.
Not to that spot, but that area.
The other side of that hill is really nice. The whole area is pretty well rolling compared to the steep drop offs and stuff we were looking at over there.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get into anything like super steep like that, but I mean we are gonna be working some finger ridges and stuff like that, and we'll see. It's an area that I've been looking at for years, but I typically don't see a lot of deer in there.
Mm-hmm.
Tons of elk. Like, I can't even explain. Too many elk for an area that doesn't allow you to shoot big bulls unless you draw. It's ridiculous.
That was the only, that whole trip, that was the only elk we had seen was in that herd. But there was, 12 to 15 cows, and there was 2 bulls at least. And the one that, we tried to work it around to, he was a toad, man. He would have been.
That's a 350 class.
He was, he was so big from like 300 yards away.
Well, his antlers were touching his butthole.
Yeah, like literally.
Like, it was a big bull.
He was a 7-point, and at the end, the 6 and 7 split so wide, it was probably just looking with binoculars from 300 yards away, and not powerful binoculars, not even good ones at this point. Just some entry level binoculars. They're probably tip to tip in between. There was probably 18 inches.
Yeah, he had some big whale tails.
Yeah.
Well, this bull was huge.
Yeah, that
was a big bull.
Yeah, we set our sights on there, but there was no getting to him. He was well tucked away.
Yeah, he was on a finger ridge that you would need climbing gear,
literally,
to get to the bull. It was it was insane, and I've seen those ridges before from a different higher area. Looking down on them, you need climbing gear to get to that bull. Like, I don't even know how he's over there.
Yeah, walking sideways, man.
He was in a goat area.
There was goats up there.
Yeah, no, it's a goat area. Like, he was in a goat area. Like, it's pretty crazy to
yeah, man. That makes me excited just thinking about seeing him. And I was like, oh my god, look at that bull. Because we saw a little cow first. We're like, look, what the heck? There's an elk. And then they all started coming out of those couple trees. Man, I can't believe they were hidden in that little patch of timber. There's a whole bunch of them come out there. But yeah, man, it's awesome. Getting ready for special permit applications to be submitted.
Today
started special permit applications in Washington State.
Mm-hmm. What is today? 19th? Yep, April 19th. So that's today. It started today. Obviously, you guys aren't going to hear this podcast till Monday, but it goes till May 18th. I believe that is the day. May 18th is the cutoff. So make sure if you're in Washington State or applying from out of state, get those applications in.
Yeah, I've been putting in. I don't have a lot of points by comparison to many people, but we have tags here that are like once in a lifetime draws, and I think I'm approaching 15 points on some of them.
Man, I'm not even close. I might have like 4.
The sad thing, I don't know how all this stuff works.
I got to get Devin on all those points.
They have there's no. I don't think it's not a weighted draw system. So you just get entries. It's like a lotto ticket. Each ticket's the same value as another. You just get more entries, right?
Yeah.
So 15 points. I had a friend of mine, 25 points, drew a moose tag. I had another friend of mine, 1 point, drew a moose tag. His wife drew a moose and mountain goat with 1 point each. That's unheard of.
That's awesome.
So, super frustrating if you're putting in points for a long time and can't draw, and then someone's like, I drew it with 1 point. And you're like, oh, get the heck out of here, So that hopefully soon, everybody says hopefully soon, but I know people that have put in for 25 years before they
It
got
wouldn't
their
it wouldn't be like super terrible if you could, like, if you were to pass away or something like that, that your next of kin or your children that are on there would get those points.
Yeah, they should do something. I mean, there is a value in it, in that point. I mean, you did purchase it. I mean,
It
technically,
just
it should be
disappears.
property.
It just disappears.
Yeah, I know it does, but it there's got to be some sort of technicality or something. I'm gonna invoke the law on this one.
It would be nice, but it's like a lottery ticket.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put in for some bull tags. There's a couple regular season bull tags. The once in a lifetime draws. Probably gonna do the mountain goat. The moose, of course.
Desert sheep.
Yep, bighorn sheep. Gonna do the bighorn sheep, and then all the conflict reduction tags that I can muster. But when the dollars start racking up, and you start second guessing those conflict goats because you're like, man, those things are like $6 a pop.
Yeah.
So
It starts racking up, man. Like, you can spend $500 easy.
yeah. Well, I bought my I don't even know what they call it now, but there's a tag or license you can get that's just like everything. So you get all your animal tags, your small game, your waterfowl.
Yeah, isn't it like $450 or something like that? $460.
No, it was a couple hundred, like $250, $230, something around there. But all your fishing tags and stuff, it doesn't have any special applications in it. It's
No,
just
I'm
your
thinking
license
with
tags.
all the applications and everything. I think it's like
It'll be a lot.
four something.
Yeah, it'll be that. Yeah, you get out. I mean, if you don't put in for everything, if you're not into duck hunting and small game and all that other stuff, then you can get
Yeah, it reduces that price.
do $110. You can get your elk, deer, bear, cougar.
Yeah, it'd be good. I wish I was a youth. I think I spent $52 on Devin's, all his stuff, plus the 2 turkey tags.
Yeah,
$52.
man, not long, man.
That's
We could,
cheap.
we're gonna be in the woods here hunting. Coyote season's in full effect.
Yeah, starting
Got to break the fox.
yesteryear.
Got to break
every
the Fox
day.
Pro out.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, it's been a couple years, man. I had a friend of mine lived here. He moved to Arizona, but a guy named Wayne, and
Oh, Wayne was on it.
yeah, he had everything, man. He was an old time varmint caller, and we went out, and I got a couple shots off, but I always miss with my rifle. I'm terrible with the rifle.
We gotta get out.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Well, I gotta sight in a new scope that I just purchased for the 308. Like, I gotta get out and get that thing dialed. I think I want to be really proficient at like 500 yards, 550 yards.
I missed a coyote from like 7 feet with my 270. I mean, it was on me. That was like a.
That's not too hard though. I mean, it's sighted in at 100 yards.
I don't even know if I
even
looked at
200.
Yeah, that coyote, he turned the afterburners on instantly when I shot. That was crazy. I've always wanted to get back out there ever since Wayne left and just give it another shot.
Well, I remember we were out bear hunting, and you blasted a coyote with the 270.
Oh,
Like maybe 285 yards. Like, it flipped through the air, and we went to go try to go get it, and it was like jumping through a giant swamp.
yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Or was I just high
No,
on
that-
Benadryl?
Was that? What was that? Oh,
We were out bear hunting.
actually, I have killed 2 coyotes. Yeah. Dang it, I forgot about those. When they're on the run, they have a really good chance of getting hit. I'll tell you that.
It was bounding through the water, and Dave takes the shot as it's jumping through the air, and it just boom, like backflips as it's like in the air. I was like, dude, that was sick. I was looking at it through the binos, and he was just like, here we go, bam. Yep, backflipping.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
That's awesome. Well, you got to lead them perfectly. It's called the flinch lead. I'm perfect at it.
Little Kentucky windage.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that was a good shot. I like that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. Yeah, I love varmint hunting, so we'll get some of that in this year. Have to dust off the Fox Pro. I got this little thing called a jackrabbit. It goes on the back of the Fox Pro.
Is that the thing that like wiggles around?
Yeah, it's like a tail, rabbit tail or something. It spins around crazily. I mean, it's almost like on a whip. So I put that on there and it starts flicking around and all that stuff. And then the coyote.
Well, here we go, right here too. We're gonna have the Fox Pro, and then
Oh
We're gonna
yeah,
have
get
to
him
pick
there.
up some of these Phelps game calls here.
You know, Luke
Got the
actually.
jackrabbit, cottontail.
So that cottontail call, I bought a call like that for Luke, and that's what he caught that bear with on Spring Bear.
Really?
Yep, little hand cottontail call.
There you
Yeah, he
go.
we went up to an area, got out, and started doing a little calling, one from each side of this log pile, old slash pile, and probably 2 or 3 calls, and that bear just walked straight up there and sat down, and looked at him, 80 yards away.
Yeah,
Crazy, dude.
the varmint calls work.
Yeah, I mean they're
They
gonna
do.
at least look,
So if you guys are looking for any type of calls and you can't afford a Fox Pro because the Fox Pro it's expensive. It's not
It
cheap.
was this one was it was a gift, but it was I probably wouldn't have bought it if I had if I had looked at the price tag.
But if you are looking for any type of predator calls, Phelps Game Calls has some really nice ones actually.
Yeah, that cottontail right there in the fawn jack.
Yeah.
Yeah, that fawn jack. We had called in a lot of deer with the fawn call.
Yeah.
A lot of does they
A
come
lot
in
of does come looking for calves
Yeah,
or the
the
fawns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they always come into it. I mean,
Booging.
Yeah.
Like boogieing in too, like nobody's business. It's either that or you're gonna get if you're doing some like coyote calling, like actual like coyote calling, the cows will come in and try to stomp those out. Have you ever had that?
dude, I've I've literally seen coyotes with their head tucked into like a 2-inch circle in the ground.
Yeah, that's a
Like,
cow stomping
yeah,
the head in.
stomp their head into the ground to where they look like they're a post hole. This thing got buried right there. I wonder what happened, and then you remember you're like sitting there putting it together. You're like, dude, a freaking elk stomped this thing's head into the earth. It's amazing to see, but
I haven't seen
probably
a coyote stomped in, but I've done some coyote calls, like the actual coyote yelps and all that other stuff, and
they come
a
running.
group of cows will come flying in. Like, holy crap.
Especially in probably the next 2 months. When those fawns start dropping, the
Oh yeah, they're on
calves.
alert. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll be all over the place, man, stomping stuff. Hear a bunch of tap dancing in the woods, you know what's happening.
Oh my gosh. Oh my
Awesome.
gosh. But yes, if you are looking for any type of calls, head up phelpsgamecalls.com and they'll get you covered.
I was interested in that the line 1 turkey pot call. We were actually talking about that before we started this.
Yeah, so right before we started the podcast, we're Jason Phelps and Steven Ranella. Where'd they go? Kansas or something?
Yeah, it's Kansas, I think. And yeah, I listened to the podcast on it. I can't recall the town that they were in, but yeah, they selected the tree and harvested the tree and had it all kiln dried and perfect, man. It's like a limited production call. I'm probably gonna pick one up just because I want to put it next to my Ranella signed turkey shirt, in a little case, just like a display.
We were talking about it because now at phelpsgamecalls.com you can actually go and purchase a bunch of different turkey calls. And before they were mainly just diaphragms. But now they have
Entire line of turkey calls.
yeah, they have everything. And I'm talking everything.
Pot calls, reed calls.
Yeah, aluminum, glass, crystal. They got it all.
Yeah.
It's
I'm sure they work, man. That bat wing right there looks crazy.
Oh yeah, this one.
Look at that.
So we're looking at my computer right now.
Yeah, the Parish pack.
Right here, the black bat.
I always like getting the packs, like the 3-packs, just because, we told the story about the pack I had bought, and there's only one call they were really responding to, but I had to use all of them.
But see, that's what's I'm talking about so we talked about bringing out the arsenal for turkey hunting. You have to bring out the arsenal for elk hunting too.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have one of those like Reed stash pouches and I got like 6 calls in there. But it seems like, to be honest with you, if you want a cheater call, because it works every single time, Well, I'm talking for elk. You get the black amped call, and you just work the crap out of that thing. It works every single time.
Yeah, you were ringing them up this last season on that.
Yeah, and that's what I shot my bull with too, and my cow.
Yeah,
like the black amped.
You can use. Yeah,
I got 3 of them in my stash pouch.
I'm always like, I'm kind of superstitious, or maybe I don't know any better, but I'll have a call. I'll have multiples of the same call, but they're just, one seems to always be turned on more, like.
No, and that's how it works, man. I mean,
like once I wear one in, I'm like, oh, this thing's perfect. I tuned it to where it needs to be. I crushed this freaking latex enough. It knows exactly what to do.
Yeah, you got to get it worked in.
Mm-hmm.
From what I know, my super old black amped one is like, if I want it to be really, because it's really worked in, raspy freaking call.
Mm-hmm.
Grab out the old crusty, go at it. But if I want it like nice and crisp and that, I'll grab a newer one just because it's a little bit more crisp.
Yeah,
a little bit more higher tone.
Yeah, I when I'm using the reed calls, when I'm doing the cow stuff, and this is probably common knowledge, but the really light latex, I really like the light latex. I don't have to blow as hard, and I don't have to have as much contact with the reed to make a nice cow sound. And then when I'm doing my bugles and stuff, I like a more stiff reed. Sometimes like a double or triple reed, and just you can get that deeper sound, or more high pitch if it's a little stiffer, thicker latex.
Latex, yeah.
Just the variation and all that stuff, man. And I give them props for figuring it out, because I'm sitting here, I don't even know what the first thing about this stuff, but they got it dialed in,
No, yeah, Phelps, they got it dialed, man. Mm-hmm. He knows what's going on, and I mean, we use all of his calls. Mm-hmm. Definitely gonna have to pick up some of the turkey stuff though. To be honest with you, all I knew about was the diaphragms until I heard Phelps's podcast with Steven Rinella. I had no idea about the pot calls or any of that stuff until I heard that, and that was probably 2 weeks ago, I think, when it came out. 2 or 3 weeks ago now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I was just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's crazy to hear that story, because think about it, and you look at a tool like a box call or a pot call, and you're sitting here thinking, oh, that's pretty simple. And you
well, if you're just kind of looking at it, but when you listen to what they were doing, and like, Jason had it to where he knows, like, he was looking at a branch and he could picture in his head like how many he was going to get out of that branch or whatever, like, so, because they were dropping not only the tree but the branches
limbs,
to them, and they can make calls out of that too, and it's like,
yeah, they had it all calculated.
That's a lot.
But yeah, it's crazy, and the science behind how they get everything perfect and kiln dried, and you got to listen to that podcast if you haven't heard it. Listen to it. It's really eye opening, and a lot of detail.
I'll find it.
A lot of details go over how things were made. And I find that fascinating, being in construction. I know that the products we use, they have a process, and I can tell you about that stuff and bore you to death. But I found it fascinating to listen to how they did that and selected it. It was a lot to do with what we do in work, but I thought it was cool, and just that extra level of attentiveness and care, it seemed pretty cool. So yeah, I'm excited for it. Just got to get one before they sell out. What do you got, Dave?
So it's Cutting the Distance. It's actually Remy Warren's old podcast. Jason Phelps is now doing Cutting the Distance, and it's actually the very first podcast.
Number one?
Number one.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. So that actually came out a couple months ago. So I guess, man, it feels
late.
like a couple weeks, but
we're late to dinner,
Oh, I heard the very first one.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, when it came out. It's like on my notifications.
Oh, okay.
Dude, I'm listening to the podcast all day long. That's all I do. While I'm at work or on the train or whatever, going to work, I'm listening to podcasts. That's all I do.
Good way to pass the time and get some information.
Yeah, it's all informational. then it's just a lot of fun listening to other people's stories. I like it a lot, and you know, I get to talk about some of our adventures too. So I mean, it's just kind of cool to listen to other people's stuff.
Well, today's exciting. I'm back in town. We're getting ready to do some new things coming up here. We're excited that Phelps has decided to sponsor the show and contribute here, and we hope to add some value and to your guys' life. And we appreciate you joining us in on this. And we'll see you again next week.
That's right. It's a wrap.
All right, Dave.
All right, everybody. Good night.